Making $10,000 a month coaching athletes online might seem impossible if you've never done anything online before. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step blueprint and simplify the entire process and show you exactly what you need to do if you want to go from zero, never having coached an athlete online before, past your first $10,000 month. I'm going to show you the exact process that I use inside my company right now to help sports coaches go from zero to 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, or even we've worked with a handful of clients that make over $100,000 a month. And if you don't know who I am, this is your first time here. My name is Nick. I run an online consulting company and an agency where we help sports coaches expand their coaching businesses online by using social media and coaching their athletes through online coaching programs. So stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to be super tactical here and give you the step-by-step plan that you need to take. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so this is the 10K per month blueprint for coaching athletes online. The first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to figure out who specifically do you want to work with, okay? The most important thing that we need to figure out is actually who is the athlete that we want to work with, okay? And it sounds obviously like so rudimentary, okay? It's like, yeah, of course we need to figure out what types of athletes we want to work with. But a lot of people come to me and they're confused with the specificity of who they should be working with. So I'm going to try and break it down to you very, very specific of how we can actually pick who we want to work with and how this ties into everything else, okay? So the first thing we need to think about is what sport or skill do we want to coach in? Okay, so for example, if you are a baseball coach and you can help pitchers and hitters, it's going to be way, way, way easier for you if you pick one. And I know you probably want to help everybody. If you're a coach, that's exactly why you got into coaching, is because you like to help people, right? But it is that exact thought process, that exact belief that you can help everybody that is going to hold you back from actually being able to reach people. And the reason why is, you want to be specific in your marketing, and we'll get into the actual details of that here in a little bit, okay? But the first thing we're going to do is, okay, what sport or skill do we want to go after? Then we want to think about what age do we want to go after, okay? So a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, oh, I work with athletes from, 8 to 22. And I'm like, oof, we don't want to talk to every single one of those athletes. The reason why is you're going to have a different marketing message for each age. So typically anybody under the age of 14, we are going to target parents primarily in our marketing, okay? Anybody 15 plus, we're typically going to go right after the athlete. The reason why is because once an athlete gets to around 15 years old, at least this was the case when I was an athlete. I played at 3 Division I schools, set a school home run record. So I think I actually, know what I'm talking about when it comes to actually training athletes. And the case for me is like, once I got over the age of like 15, it was pretty much up to me to decide like where I wanted to train, right? And who I wanted to listen to and what I wanted to do with my career. When you're under the age of 14, it was kind of like, yeah, my dad, did a little bit of research. He saw this travel team, blah, 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 all the different type of stuff, right? So that's why it's very, very important to pick, number one, what sport or skill are we gonna target, right? Let's say you're a hitting coach, you work with baseball and softball athletes. You're probably gonna want to pick one at least at the beginning. That doesn't mean that you're going to alienate people who are not in, a certain demographic that you can actually help. It just means that we're going to have one specific message toward one specific type of person, okay? So we're going to pick the sport or skill that we want to work with, and then we're going to pick the age. After that, we need to understand what are their problems, okay? So as we get into like the actual marketing strategy and how you can actually sign up athletes into your coaching program, understanding what their problems is the most fundamental thing that we could do, because the way that we're going to resonate with them on social media, the way that they're actually going to stop and pay attention to what we're saying is by actually calling out their problems. And then what outcomes do they want? Okay. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see sports coaches make is they say like, oh yeah, the way I help athletes is I give them a program. And I'm like, That's the dumbest thing in the entire world. No athlete wants to just follow a program for the sake of following a program. If an athlete wants to follow a program, it's because they think that that program is going to help them get a specific outcome. It's going to help them get a specific result. And so if you're not thinking about what are the problems that these people have and what are the outcomes that they want, then you are quite literally wasting your time on social media, or just, you're thinking about things completely wrong. Okay. And this will make sense here in a second. I absolutely promise. But the first thing we want to do is just get very, very specific on who the athlete is, or, what the parent thinks about. Okay. Once we get very clear on who that athlete is, assuming, like, let's say you have some in-person athletes, or even if you don't, this will be relevant to you. Okay. We're going to look at our roster. Okay, and if you don't have any in-person athletes, this obviously is going to be a little bit more difficult for you, but you can look at yourself and think, what type of person was I? Because a lot of the time when you're trying to grow your coaching program online, you're going to be helping the types of people who you are very similar to. That's why you can speak directly to them. You can speak their language. Okay, so we're going to look at our roster and we're going to think, who fits that, let's call it, archetype. If you don't know what archetype means, just Google it really quick. Okay. You ask yourself, who fits that archetype? Okay. And I'll give you a prime example. So I work with a client, his name's Eric. I actually have a testimonial with him on my channel, and he's doing exceptionally well in his content right now. And the reason why is because he targets specifically pitchers who are throwing 75 to 85 and they want to throw 90 plus. They're over the age of 14. They're typically like 15 to 18, maybe a little bit older, but they want to throw harder, right? Their problems are that they're following a coaching program right now, or they're going to in-person lessons and the shit just ain't working, right? And Eric understands that these people maybe have tried, going to lessons. They've tried another coaching program. They've tried somebody else, but for some reason, they're not getting the outcome they want, which is to throw 90 plus or play in college. Okay. These people, the outcomes that they want, the goals that they have nothing to do with Eric's program. But Eric makes content calling out these specific types of people. Okay. And he talks about what they want. Okay. And so he looked at himself and was like, well, that's the type of person that I was. I was going to all these like training facilities and lessons, and I was doing all my own research. I was such a fucking dome job that I couldn't figure it out on my own. So when I got a coach, and when I actually did my own research and like took control of my own career, then I was able to discover this new way of going about things. And, he basically pushes all of his message about how pitchers need to be doing a little bit less and they need to be throwing more athletically. You may not agree with that, okay? It's not my job to sit here and tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing with your athletes and how you should be training them. My job is to sit here and tell you how you can actually get them interested in what you have to say and position yourself as an authority, okay? So now that we look at our roster and we see who fits that archetype, right? If you have in-person athletes, then you're going to go with what's called a hybrid program. And so a lot of people will ask me, oh, I work with a bunch of different athletes in person. Some of them don't really seem that serious about it. It's like, good. We don't want to pitch the hybrid program to the athletes who we don't think are probable to say yes to it. Okay. We only want to pitch our hybrid program to athletes who we think are going to say yes, who we think actually fit this archetype, right? Who actually are the type of athlete that we want to work with. The reason why is because we are going to use this hybrid program to build the foundations of our program. Okay. And when it comes to the foundations of our program, there's going to be a handful of things. Okay. Number one, there is the training program itself. Okay. It is the content on social media. And it's typically like the offer and the price point. The reason why having a hybrid program, that's kind of brutal. I'm just going to leave that. The reason why having a hybrid program allows you to build these foundations so well is because what you're going to do is you're going to go to your in-person athletes who fit that ideal criteria of an athlete that you want to work with. And you're going to say, hey, for, let's say a discounted rate, let's say you charge $100 an hour for just $50 more per month or $100 more per month. I'm going to give you a plan that helps you the other 6 days of the week. I'm going to do video analysis with you. And this program is not, or this video is not going to go super in depth on like how to build an actual training program. If you want to learn that, I have tons of other videos on my channel that talk about how to actually build the program. This is strictly just like the overall process to go from 0 to 10K a month. Okay. So you're going to get them on the program. You're going to build the program around these hybrid athletes. Okay. And that is going to serve as the foundation of your program. From there, you're going to use what you're doing with your hybrid athletes and post content on social media of those specific types of athletes. The reason why we only want to get our ideal athletes on the hybrid program is because when we market on social media, when we post content on social media, we are trying to speak to the ideal client type. Let's say you're a coach. Like if you were, let's use Eric as another example. If Eric was working in person, giving lessons with like a 10-year-old and he's posting content of a 10-year-old, who do you think he's going to attract? Is he going to attract the 17-year-old who's throwing 82 that wants to throw 90? Absolutely the fuck not. He's going to attract the parents of a 10-year-old or 10-year-olds, because apparently 10-year-olds have social media now. They spend a shit ton of time on it, right? But he's not going to attract the actual types of people that he wants to work with. And why do you want to build a business that sucks, that you don't actually want to work with the clients that you want to work with? That's one of the worst things that you could ever do. Okay. And then we want to dial in what the offer and the price point is. So a quick pricing hack right here is you're going to take, your hourly rate. So let's say you charge $100 an hour. If you don't, then you're probably in a lower income area or you're severely underpriced. Okay. $100 an hour. And then you're just going to go, you're going to take your hourly rate times 4 plus another hour. Okay. So if you charge $100 an hour, your hybrid program should be somewhere around $500 a month. Oh, Nick, not everyone's going to pay that. Exactly. We don't want everyone to pay this. We only want our best clients to pay this. Okay. And then when you go strictly online, you can just go, $400 a month if you want. If you're just starting out, I would recommend probably doing this for somewhere between $250 and $400 a month, depending on your level of confidence, your sales ability, all those different things. There's a bunch of different factors that go into that. But I will say you want to charge somewhere between like $250 and $400 a month, especially when you're first starting out, because you're probably not going to be that good at sales yet. Just to be honest, if you've never made 10K a month online, you probably got a lot of skills you got to learn. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. Just means you got a lot to learn. Okay. So now that we have the foundations of our hybrid program, right? We've built our hybrid program around our in-person athletes. Let's get into actual content strategy. Okay. So when it comes to the content strategy, we want to, number one, we want to post daily. Okay. The reason why we want to post daily is think about if you want to get like super in shape, right? The more times you work out, typically, this obviously has some nuance to it, but the more times you work out, the more consistent you are with your workouts, the faster you're going to be able to grow, the more progress you're going to be able to make, right? We want to see these daily content or these daily pieces of content as quick feedback loops. And we're going to take what happened yesterday. We're going to look at how the piece of content performed. And then we're going to make adjustments based on how it was. And if you're not posting daily, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get enough data to know what works and what doesn't. Okay. But typically you're going to want to post daily for 1 month. And the reason why I don't say for one week is, like I said, you're just not going to get enough data. Okay. You're going to post daily. Now, you might be asking, what are the types of content that I should be posting? I thought you would never ask. Okay, so the types of content that you should be posting You should be posting value-based content, proof-based content, and then personal. And we can even call value or educational. Okay? Let's take Eric for example. Eric, when he makes his value-based content or his educational-based content, he's talking about things that high school pitchers can do to improve velocity if they want to finally throw 90 miles an hour, right? When he's posting proof-based content, he's showing the results that his athletes are getting, that they're actually getting faster, or they're actually throwing faster, or like screenshots of text that they're sending him saying like, hey, I had such a fantastic weekend, or he's telling stories about the athletes that he's working with. And then number 3, he's posting some personal type of stuff. So that way people can actually develop like some level of trust. Okay. Because unless you have like a big, like, training company brand, you're going to want to build this on the back of your personal brand. Okay. You're going to want to put your face on it. The reason you're going to want to put your face on it is because people trust people, right? You might be watching this video. You have no idea what my company is called. It's called Just Coach, by the way, but you know who I am, right? I am the one who pushes this message. And if you watch a lot of my stuff, I tell personal stories on Fridays. I'll post like different types of stuff, right? But these are the 3 main things. Now, I would say you're going to want at least 50% value-based content or educational-based content. Then from there, you're probably going to want about 40% proof-based content and 10% personal content. And you might be asking yourself, well, can I make a post that does all 3? Yeah, absolutely. Those are actually the best types of posts where you could be educational, show proof, and show a little bit of your personality, right? And I will say, the most important thing when it comes to your content, I cannot leave this out, authenticity. Okay? Recently, on one of my like coaching calls with my clients, we start talking about one of our clients in particular. He's actually Eric's really good friend. His name's Dylan. Was struggling with his content for a little bit and didn't really know what to post and felt like he was trying to copy a bunch of other people. And I was like, bro, you just need to be yourself. Like, let's look at the pieces of content that performed exceptionally well and let's remake those. And so all he did was just create little variations of those best performing types of videos, showed his own personality, and now he's getting way more leads, way more calls as a result, right? So when it comes to content strategy, I cannot stress this enough. You have to be patient. If you think that you're going to post 30 times in a month and make $10,000 a month, you are out of your fucking mind unless you already have an existing following. Okay. So now that we know the types of content that we want to post, there's tons of different formats that you can go. What I would recommend is look at somebody else in your specific niche and model what they're doing. That doesn't mean copy. Okay, but model what they're doing. Take the frameworks, take the things that they're doing and model them. Okay, make your own version of it. Put your own spin on it. Okay, after that, there are 3 reasons for content. Okay, so when we're posting content, we should really only be posting for number 1, reach / views. Number 2, we should be posting to nurture or build trust. And then number 3, convert / leads. Okay. So we are going to take the types of content that we're posting, educational, proof, and personal, and we're going to make sure that there is a specific reason that we are putting this piece of content out. If it is not designed to get more views, build trust with the existing audience that we have, or convert the existing audience that we have into an actual lead or a book call, then it's an absolute waste of your time. And you might be wondering, same thing, what percentage, how often? Post every day, or twice a day is even better if the content is good. If the content's terrible, don't post twice a day. It'll just water down your feed. Okay. This really depends on how many followers and different things like that you have. If you're just trying to get some traction, you should be using 50% of your posts to try and get more reach, because you really don't have an audience, right? If you don't have an audience, then there's really no point in posting any nurture-based content or conversion-based content, because you don't have anybody to nurture or nobody to convert, right? So most of your efforts should be going to getting more reach, then about 40% towards nurture, and then about 10% towards conversion. Okay, so let's say we're going to post Monday through Sunday. What you can do is Monday, we're going to go educational, reach. Okay, so that is like a viral type of post. And if you don't know what a viral type of post is, literally just go look at people who are going viral and make similar types of posts with a similar structure with your own spin on it. Okay. Tuesday, let's say that post absolutely popped off. Okay. Then we're going to go proof / nurture. Okay. So what we're doing right here is we are trying to get as many views as we possibly can with an educational, informative piece of content that people actually want to consume. Then we're posting a piece of proof from, like, let's say one of our hybrid athletes or something that you did in your career to show yourself as an authority. And that is designed to build trust with the audience. Okay. Then on Wednesday, let's say we go proof / reach. Okay. So this could be like an example of, like, I've posted pieces of content before where it was like me hitting a homer in college or something like that. And I tried to make it like a little bit viral. And the reason why I did that is to show people like, hey, I was actually a good athlete, right? You should listen to me. Okay. Thursday, this can be educational. And we are going to go reach again. Okay, the reason why we're going to go reach again is because if you're starting from scratch, ain't nobody know who you are. We want to optimize for reach as much as we possibly can, okay? Then on Friday, we're going to have proof / educational, depending on, this doesn't really matter, but we're going to go nurture. Okay. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to build up as much reach as we possibly can, and then nurture a little bit to build a little bit of trust with the people that we currently have, right? So these types of posts that are nurture, we are speaking to somebody as if they already know who we are. These pieces of content based on reach are speaking to somebody as if they don't know who we are. They're a complete stranger and you're trying to get their attention as they're walking down the street in Manhattan, right? Saturday, this is where we go for the conversion, right? We're going for conversion, okay? I have seen proof posts convert best, although that's not always the case. Okay. Sometimes you can be educational. Sometimes you can, do something personal. It really doesn't matter. Okay. But Saturday, we're going to have a call to action. We're going to try and convert. And then Sunday, this is when I like to go personal and I like to build trust with it. / nurture. Yeah. Nurture was the word I was using. Nurture or trust. Okay. And that's typically when it'll just be like, something about your life. Like, let's say you got a son, you got a daughter, you got a wife, you got a husband, whatever it is, you're letting people into your personal life here. So I kind of just walked you through exactly, what you should be posting and the different types of content you should be posting and the reasons for content. Now, how do we actually convert these leads into actual clients? Okay, that is the big question. How do we convert these leads into actual clients? If you're just starting out, you have no technological skills, we are going DM to book a call. Now, what that means is that in these conversion-based posts, we're going to say, hey, if you're we'll use Eric's case, right? If you're a high school pitcher and your velo wouldn't get you pulled over, then listen up. You're probably trying to do all these drills and they don't make any sense and you're not gaining any velocity. What you need is a guide who's been there and done that. It can actually help you. I've helped 25 pitchers throw 90 plus in the last 6 months, and I want to help you too. If you want to work with me one-on-one so that way you can actually throw 90 plus, then DM me velo and we'll have a conversation to see if I can help. Okay? That's literally a script that you can use. You're welcome. Free. Right? So we're gonna have a DM conversation with them to book a call. Now, when we're in the DMs, number one, what we need to be doing is we need to qualify that they fit the ideal type of athlete, okay? If they're giving you short responses, if they don't really seem that interested, it's a waste of your time, right? We should be trying to qualify the people that we want to work with, because at the end of the day, you only want to work with people that you can really, really help. And you don't want to be building a business serving people that you don't actually want to work with or that aren't actually even going to take it that seriously, right? So we're going to qualify them. Then we're going to create a gap in the conversation. Okay, so number one, are you a high school pitcher? Yes, right? Or you can even look at their profile and make sure if you just want to do like a little bit more research. You qualify them, then we create the gap. Okay, well, what's your goal right now? I want to throw 90. Okay, why do you think, or then you ask, got ahead of myself there for a second. We'll ask them, what's your goal? I want to throw 90. Okay, cool. How hard are you throwing right now? Oh, I'm throwing 75. Gotcha. Well, what do you think is holding you back from throwing 90 plus? Well, I just don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, sweet. And then that's how the gap is established, right? Because we asked about their present situation and we asked about their goal. And then we asked them, what is this gap right here? Right? We asked them, what is holding you back from getting to where you want to go? And when they tell us that, that is enough leverage to be able to pitch a call. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I'm talking to the athlete. I should be marketing to the parent. It's bullshit. I've worked with hundreds of coaches. That is the worst way you could possibly go about it, right? If you're trying to market to high school kids specifically. If you're trying to work with younger people, yeah, 100%. Market to the parent. But if you're trying to work with high school kids, you want to market directly to the athlete, and then we're going to pitch a call with their parents, okay? If they're not willing to get on a call with their parents, you either suck at DMs or they're not that serious. It's more probable to be the first one. You're probably an absolute bot in the DMs if you're watching this right now, and you just need to read your conversations out loud and ask yourself, would I respond to this? If the answer is no, then fucking work on it. Or you could just book a call with me directly. I'll show you exactly how to actually, do this for you rather than just watching for free on YouTube. But anyway, I digress. Let's keep moving. So when you pitch the call with the parents, they'll say, okay, cool. You're going to book the call with their parents. You can use a software like Calendly, or, you could use something like Go High Level. There are a bunch of different softwares you could use. You could even just call them on the phone. I typically like to do Zoom because it shows a higher level of intent. There's a little bit more friction to getting somebody on a Zoom call. And that way you can actually have a real conversation with them, right? So we're going to qualify that they're actually the right type of person. We're going to create the gap between where they are and where they want to go. And then we're going to say, hey, would love to jump on a call with you and your parents and talk about how we can help you get over that gap that you just told me. They're going to be like, okay, awesome. Sounds great. Cool. Then you send them a calendar link and they book a call directly through there. Ideally, if you have it set up right, then they have the Zoom link that they get emailed directly and they can jump in at the time of the call. Okay. On that call, you literally just have a conversation with them, see if you can help. If you think you can, then you pitch them your program, okay? It's really, really that simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it over this. At the end of the day, most everybody that's watching this right now that isn't coaching any athletes online, it's probably because you're not doing enough. You don't know what you should be doing. So even if you are willing to do enough volume in order to get to where you want to go, you don't even know how to actually start or what to do. If that's you, you can go ahead, click the link in the description and apply to work with me one-on-one. I got a coaching program that'll walk you through exactly how you can go from never coached any athletes online before to making over $10,000 a month. Now it is only for, coaches who actually can help athletes get results. If you can't get athletes results, then I probably can't help you. But if that's you, obviously you can go ahead and fill out the application, book a call with me down below. Either way, hopefully you got a ton out of this video. I gave you a ton of value. So if you have any other questions or anything like that, just put them in the comments. You can go ahead, give me a subscribe. Or if you want to have a further conversation, you don't want to go directly to book a call with me, you can just DM me on Instagram at @TheRealNickNeville, and we can have a conversation there. Let me know any ideas. But either way, I'm going to go ahead, wrap this up. It's been about 30 minutes. I've given you guys enough value. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Boom.